So good day everyone. So we're here to present our research project titled Effects of Rice Water on the Growth of Solanum lycopersicum, also known as tomato plants. So first, let us start with the background of the study. Rice has been the staple food for Filipinos, and it is also considered a major source of income for Filipino farmers. The Philippine Statistics Authority reported that a single Filipino consumes 180.81 kilograms of rice annually, which is equivalent to 325.5 grams of rice daily. With a Philippine current population of 108.66 million, the country's annual consumption of rice would amount to 12.9 million metric tons. Before rice is served, it is rinsed to remove any starch and debris that causes the rice to get gummy as it cooks. The starchy water is called rice water and it has been continuously produced as a waste product when cooking rice. So using the 1-to-1 ratio, around 12.9 million liters of water is discarded. So unbeknownst to most households, rice water contains numerous vitamins and minerals such as amino acids, vitamins A, B, C, and E, antioxidants, flavonoids, and phenolic compounds, and it has been applied in different fields such as cosmetic formulation, hair treatment, and skin treatment. It is also used for fertilizers and pest control. It also contains starch which urges healthy bacteria and fungi such as mycorrhizae to grow in the roots and add small amounts of NPK to the soil. So a related study was conducted at the University of Putra, Malaysia by Tebun Song on the usage of rice water and cotton plants. Findings found that it is said to be as effective as NPK fertilizers in promoting plant growth in terms of the number of plant leaves produced in the plant biomass. However, further research needs to be conducted on the effect of rice water on plants or crop types to evaluate rice water's effectiveness fully. Solanum lycopersicum, also known as tomato plants, is a nutrient-dense superfood that benefits a range of bodily systems, and it is also widely used as a model crop for fruit development and various scientific studies. So, so the study proposed to analyze the effectiveness of rice water on Solanum lycopersicum plants by comparing several growth differences with different nutrient types. So for the objectives of the study aims to measure the growth of Solanum lycopersicum using rice water as a nutrient agent. So specifically to evaluate the effect of rice water as a nutrient agent on tomato plants by comparing it with different water types, specifically distilled and tap water. Secondly, to compare the effects of the water type by comparing them to their absolute growth rate, height, dry matter production and distribution, and lastly, to determine a method to utilize the food processing waste, which is wastewater. And now for our methodology.
For the methodology, it was based on the study of Tabanson, which is using rice water in watering cacao plant. First is the procurement and preparation, next is the implementation, lastly is the data gathering. So we use the tomato seed in the brand of Diamante Max F1, which is a brand available and is commonly used. For the soil, we used a garden soil, which is bought from a local gardening store. For our treatments, the rice water has a ratio of 1:1. Then we use the available tap water in the household with no any additional substance. And for the distilled, we use the brand Absolute. So for the next, please. For the implementation, we have three setups having 10 replicates per treatment. For the watering of the plants, we watered the 30 setups with their corresponding treatments every other day. For the fertilizer, we used the 1846-0, in which a tablespoon is mixed with a 1 liter of water. Then we apply it every 15 days starting on the fourth week. So we collected the plant growth weekly and observed it. Next, please. These are the data that we collected. First is the weekly plant height, which is done by using a ruler and measured from the bottom to the highest part of the seedling and in centimeters. Next is the weight of the plant. On the 8th week, we uprooted the plants, which then cut it into pieces and weighed using a digital scale. Lastly, for the dry weight, we let the plant sit for a week for it to dry, then weighed it in a digital scale. Next, please. So these are the data that was gathered for the weekly height of the rice water. Next, please. This for the tap water and for the distilled water. So these are the data gathered for the fresh and dry weight of rice, distilled, and tap water. So for the weekly observations, the rice water treated plants grow the best, showing leafy and long plantlings, while the tap water treated plants show good growth rate, but not the same with rice water. And for the distilled water, treated plants, it grows the least among the treatments. Next, please.
So before we delve right into the results, let us first define what AGR is. AGR, or the absolute growth rate, is the simplest index for plant's growth. It is the rate of change of size per unit of time, in which in the study, the size that is considered is the height of the plant. Next. So table 1 shows the mean parameters of each treatment in terms of their height, fresh, and dry weight. As can be seen in the table, rice water treatment exhibit the largest means out of the three treatments, followed by the tap water treatment and distilled water treatment. Next. Table 2 then shows additional data of each treatment, their maximum and minimum weight recorded, as well as their absolute growth rate. And just like the previous slide, rice water treatment still has the AGR, maximum and minimum weight, the highest values. Next. Now, Table 3 shows the result of the one-way ANOVA testing onto the plant's AGR. The overall p-value was less than 0.05, indicating that there is a significant difference between the AGR of the treatments. Within further analysis, it was then seen that the significant difference in the AGR lies only between the distilled water treatment and rice water treatment. Next. The AGR relationship between the treatment is described by this inequality. Next, this is then the box plot of the AGR means, showing that the rice water treatment is higher compared to the other treatments. Moving on, for additional analysis, we conducted an ANOVA test into the plant's dry weight, in which the p-value resulted in being greater than 0.05, indicating no significant difference between their weights. This actually indicates that the rice water treatment only has an effect on tomato plant's height and not on its biomass. Next. So the images on this slide show what our setup looked like on its last week.
So, in conclusion, previous studies that have been conducted regarding the increased growth performance of the replication of rice water align with the results obtained in the present study. Statistical results indicate that the use of rice water as a watering agent in growing Solanum lycopersicum effectively improves the height of tomato plants. The application of rice water mainly has an effect on the height of the plant, whereas further observation periods are recommended to see whether it has an effect on its biomass. Comparison of the numerical values of each treatment's central tendencies results in the rice water group containing the maximum values, while the distilled group contains the lowest, indicating the effectivity rank, which can be described as rice water is greater than tap water and greater than distilled water. Using tap water is not efficient enough when growing tomato plants, while the use of distilled water is the least recommended, as casualties could happen. So therefore, using rice water as a watering agent for growing food crops is optimal use when planting to achieve substantial results. However, further extensive studies on the effectivity of rice water are recommended with a longer observation period, comparison of the dry matter production and distribution of the plant, increased plant samples, and varied plant crops are conducted to efficiently come up with strong piece supporting pieces of evidence on the rice water effectivity, as well as creating a general trend map on its effect of various plant types. And that is all. Thank you, and we are now ready for your questions.